It's time for a cup of coffee with Will and Chris at Slumberland Furniture. From Slumberland Furniture in Osage Beach, here are your hosts, William Holtz and Chris Schneider.
Hopefully you're ready for this week's cup of coffee. Uncle Chris, you ready for this?
Oh yeah, I'm ready, baby. Here we go.
Action-packed week. Hey, we got new elected officials. We don't know who because, of course, we record on Election Day. Hopefully you got out and vote. We pay tribute to a very special Osage graduate, talk about a resolution that's been lifted, and attempted kidnapping in Osage Beach.
Strange story.
Lots of local events, all kinds of things going on. We'll talk about that. Plus, we have a national champion for March Madness. Meaning we have a high-stakes Smokehouse winner, $750.
Wish that was me.
Yeah, it's not. We'll tell you about that and a whole lot more on the other side of these.
Hey everybody, it's Daryl Cunningham with Slumberland Furniture at the Lake. Part of our big spring sale is we're doing some spring cleaning in the mattress gallery. That's right, all the showroom models are on sale. Huge discounts so we can bring in the new models. Not only that, but we have sales for every room in the house. You're gonna get up to 20% off and interest-free financing for 36 months. And don't forget, we're delivering the entire lake area. So come see us at Slumberland Furniture, where we're bringing happy home.
The lake has it all. The scenic outdoors, the incredible events, and of course the water.
But did you know 50% of all fatal boating crashes in Missouri last year involved alcohol?
Although we know the lake is all about having a great time, we also know what's most important to you.
So don't forget and always designate a sober captain ahead of time, so this summer won't be your last summer.
This reminder to drive safe, boat safe, brought to you by Price & Randall, injury attorneys.
The biggest names in music visit Lake of the Ozarks in 2025 at the Ozarks Amphitheater. Get ahead of the crowd with the Ozarks AMP Fan Club. Score pre-sales, announcements, special offers, day of show details, and so much more. The best part is, it's free to join, but you've got to sign up to beat the crowd. Visit ozarksamp.com and score big with Missouri's #1 outdoor music venue, the Ozarks Amphitheater. We'll see you under the stars.
You know, all those reminders. First, make sure you stop here at Slumberland. Tell them Uncle Chris and Wild Will sent you. Never forget, buckle up, phones down. Part of our Drive Safe, Boat Safe campaign with our friends Price & Randall Injury Attorneys and Ozarks AMP Fan Club. Of course, you want to get involved in. They're announcing concerts left and right. You've already got tickets to a couple of shows, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, really excited about it. The first one coming up for us is country one. I'm trying to think of his name. Anyway, so yeah, pretty excited about that.
You and Mrs. Uncle C, you guys love the amphitheater. That's a great place. If you haven't been there, taking a concert under the stars, pretty special.
I don't think I've met anybody who doesn't love the amphitheater. I mean, that's such a beautiful, special venue out there.
It's really cool too. All these years later, from concerts where they'd have less than 1,000 people there, now you're lucky to be able to get a ticket to some of these shows.
Dwight Yoakam, that's who we're going to.
Yeah,
here in a couple weeks.
Dwight Yoakam, the actor, right?
Well, he's both. He's a country singer, great songs, but he is an actor. I think he's been in things like Sling Blade and several movies and stuff. He's had a pretty good career.
Wedding Crashers was his most significant
There you go, yeah.
of all time. All right, so tragedy struck Lake of the Ozarks last week when the lake community lost a very special young man, Ryan King. Richard Ryan King, accomplished athlete, outdoorsman, and friend to all, passed away unexpectedly April 3rd in a tragic car accident. Ryan was born March 10th in 2005 to Richard Justin King and Aubrey Glenn in Jefferson City, Missouri. Ryan left this earth at the young age of 20. He was a month away from earning his associate's degree at State Fair Community College and was planning on attending Mizzou this fall to complete his degree in business administration. Ryan was a 2023 graduate of School of the Osage, and as an Indian, he excelled in football, baseball, golf, and basketball. Ryan's favorite pastime was fishing, and his friends and family or spending countless hours on the golf course. Ryan brought a smile to everyone he came in contact with. He loved Dr. Pepper, Sergio's, and Domino's Pizza, and he spent many hours screaming on Xbox with his friends, lending a helping hand to anyone in need, or fishing at the family pond where he will be laid to rest. Ryan took fashion cues from no one. His signature everyday look was all his. A hoodie typically representing his current employer, Core in Maine, shorts or sweatpants, and a sweat-stained hat. He was a simple man with the biggest heart and a soft place for the underdog. Ryan was loved by all who knew him and never met a stranger. He got his infectious smile from his mom, his personality and competitive nature from his dad, and his love for the outdoors from his grandpa. Friends will be received from 11 to 1 p.m. this Saturday, April 12th at Mount Carmel Baptist Church in Lake Ozark, Missouri. Funeral services will be held at 1 o'clock following that same day at Mount Carmel, of course, in Lake Ozark. In lieu of flowers, the family asked that you make a donation to the Ryan King Athletic Memorial Fund to help aid the student athletic department at School of the Osage. We appreciate your generosity in the name of our precious son. We hope his legacy will live on forever and help many more kids find a love for sports and the outdoors. Donations will be collected at the service or received at Oak Star Bank in Lake Ozark, Missouri, in the name of the Ryan King Athletic Memorial Fund. And attached to the obituary was a poem I'll recite: Gone Fishing. I've finished life's chores assigned to me, so put me on a boat headed out to sea. Please send along my fishing pole, for I've been invited to the fishing hole, where every day is a day to fish, to fill your heart with every wish. Don't worry or feel sad for me, I'm fishing with the master of the sea. We will miss each other for a while, but you will come and bring your smile. They won't be long, you will see, till we're together, you and me. To all of those that think of me, be happy as I go out to sea. If others wonder why I'm missing, just tell them I've gone fishing. Rest in peace to Richard Ryan King, 2003 School of the Osage graduate. Absolutely heartbreaking. And this Saturday, I imagine many will attend that celebration of life. Just heartbreaking. And you saw the tribute at School of the Osage where they turned the lights on. The scoreboard was set to 81 minutes.
For his number 81.
For his jersey number. And we lift up all the friends and family, so many impacted by this tragedy. Heartbreaking story.
I can't believe you got through that without crying.
Yeah, that was tough. We see those kind of things, and sometimes they hit very, very close to home. And for us, we cover School of the Osage. We hold that district, Coach Jolly, and all that family and friends so near and dear to our heart, and we know what this is doing to them.
Oh. Tearing them up. I remember you and I were doing a football game together a couple years ago at California, and Ryan had maybe his best football game ever. He turned that game around single-handedly. I think he had like an interception for a touchdown, and he had like a reception for a touchdown, all in just like a few minutes of the second half, and we're like, Ryan King, right? It was amazing. But as soon as I heard that name, that memory of us doing that game popped up.
Yeah, no doubt. And we'll relive that memory on Lake TV in the coming weeks. Our next local story has to do with Camden County as they actually revoke the resolution, and now there's no more banning citizens from county property. You're probably wondering, like, wait, since when were they banning citizens from county property, right? Well, Nathan Rennie presented at the Camden County Commission meeting last week, and we're able to get all of this in easy to understand format because of our buddy Dave Maupin, who has Among the Dogwoods blog. You can find that at amongthedogwoods.
He does a lot of work on that blog, man.
Yeah, he does a nice job breaking it down for guys like you and me that aren't quite as intellectually sound, but he's celebrating 4 years in covering this. And if you remember back in like 2021, this is all in the Among the Dogwoods blog. Commissioner Williams and Commissioner Hasty at the time voted to ban citizen Nathan Rennie from all county property in March of 2021, and they delivered a letter banning him. Well, afterwards, Nathan went to the courthouse to vote, posted a video of him leaving the courthouse on his Facebook account, and a detective from Camden County actually wrote a criminal search warrant for Rennie's Facebook page and all Facebook content, seizing it that was pursuant to the case. Now, allegedly, no deputies or no judges would sign it, so the detective took it to a Laclede County judge and convinced him to sign it, and then they did. They literally issued a summons, and not only did they get into his Facebook account and lock him out, but since then, Nathan had filed a federal lawsuit alleging that his civil rights had been violated. In this case, Nathan Rennie versus Camden County is still moving through the federal courts, heading to trial, but a federal judge has already issued a preliminary injunction against the county. And this is what's big, is he denied former presiding commissioner Greg Hasty qualified immunity. And what that means is he could personally be held responsible or liable, and the county wouldn't be on the hook as far as he was operating in the capacity. So that's a big injunction, a preliminary injunction ruled by a federal judge. So Greg Hasty had lost his qualified immunity. And in this meeting, presiding commissioner Ike Skelton said he never liked it from before, and he was good with it going away. Commissioner Gohagan said, we as a county are never going to grow if we're not willing to listen to our citizens. Banning them makes absolutely no sense, and that should be the last resort. Commissioner Steve Dugan agreed, and the commission unanimously voted to revoke the resolution, and so no more banning citizens from county property because you don't like them.
Yeah, I mean, you would think that would be a no-brainer anyway, but sometimes you have to have things like this to, bring it to light, correct things. The original resolution itself against Rennie apparently described no due process. There was no option to have a hearing, talk to witness, or any procedure other than just simply banning him, which is why right now it's looking in court like those former county commissioners that did it might be in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, we'll keep you posted on that. I mean, that's been an ongoing legal battle. 2021 when that, search warrant was
long time
initially issued. We're looking at over 4 years at this point in time. So what also came from that commission meeting was something from Camden County Road and Bridge. Tom Abbott with the Ozarks Amphitheater had come and presented to the commission talking about, look, with the increased traffic, we need to widen the road. We need to expand it, right? From Pier 31 to Old Highway 5 there, where you enter, put a turn lane in. And
because there's only one lane both ways, and that gets backed up when there's a big concert.
And you've been to a concert,
Sure.
right? You always see deputies or the police out there stopping traffic, and it's that makes it really hard for anybody to get in and out of that area for a few hours, any concert day. And so Pat Wolf, who's with Camden County Road and Bridge, she said it would cost about $100,000 to get this done. And Tom Abbott and the Ozarks Amphitheater said, hey, we'll pay for the asphalt. We would ask that you guys pay for the dirt because we think it's going to be beneficial. And the commission thought that was a great idea. They put a plan together, and bada boom, they moved forward just like that.
Yeah, that's genius, man.
Right. You don't see that as frequently, but you'll remember there was that lot that was annexed into the city that, was shared. And then there was usage for the city of different things with the amphitheater. So that's a pretty strong relationship. And that's a good headline. Now, there's a strange headline last week at Macadoodles in Osage Beach. Allegedly, there was an attempted kidnapping.
Yeah, it's a weird story, right? Osage Beach man charged with first-degree felony harassment and third-degree misdemeanor kidnapping after this altercation at a local business. Camden County Courthouse documents allege 54-year-old James Glenn Perry entered the business, I think it was Macadoodles, yelling. He was attempting to forcefully take an employee out before returning to his car. Two customers and employees of the business were able to stop him from doing this, thank goodness. During the sequence of events, Perry was reportedly overheard saying that he just wanted to stop and smell the roses, referring apparently to this employee as a goddess, which is kind of wackadoodle in itself. He was arrested by Osage Beach police, booked into the Camden County Jail, being held on $75,000 bond. What a weird story.
I apologize. I'm not laughing because it's not funny. You said that he's a Macadoodle himself.
Kind of fits, right?
That was great. Yeah, what a wild story. And it could be a tad misleading, not to downplay the situation. When I hear kidnapping, I immediately think of a young child, right? Being a father of a young child, but an employee of Macadoodles. And what a strange situation. And it looked like Osage Beach police were quick to be on the scene and apprehend the individual, as you said, being held on that $75,000 bond. But wow. Things are getting crazy here at Lake of the Ozarks from time to time.
Yeah, and it almost sounds like in a case like that, and I don't know anything about the guy, but it almost sounds like he was on something, or there was some sort of an issue going on there. So not good, but at least nobody got hurt.
Right. I mean, to be in that state of mind, and if you're in the liquor store, sometimes maybe you're a little more courageous, maybe you're a little under the influence. Leads people to do crazy things from time to time. But hey, all right, so we told you there's a crazy amount of events coming up. But first, I want to tell you about one that's more beneficial, not really to attend, but to partake in. But we've got the Community Cleanup Recycling and Waste Collection event coming up. And this is for residents of Camden County, right? I know every year when you're a homeowner, you live on your own, your family, you have stuff around the house starts building up, and you're like, man, where do I take this?
Yeah, how do I get rid of that?
Well, listen, Saturday, April 26th from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., you can take it to Woods Parking Lot in Sunrise Beach, and this is for residents of Camden County. Items are only going to be accepted from residents, not commercial businesses, and things being accepted are furniture, clothes, 4 tires per home at $2 per tire, additional tires $5. So you're going to have to pay if they take tires off your hands. E-scrape, which is electrical, scrap, bulk debris, and 2 appliances per home. Yard waste will not be accepted. And then household hazardous waste will not be accepted at the community cleanup, but they do offer waste drop-off locations. This is all from the Department of Natural Resources in Missouri, but it's sponsored by the LOA, in Camden. LOA, Camden County Commission, Lake West Chamber of Commerce, Woods Supermarket in Sunrise Beach, and the Lake of the Ozarks Solid Waste Management District. But hey, if you live in Camdenton, take advantage of this, right? This is a good deal.
Yeah, because I mean, for most people, you do acquire junk over the course of a year. If you get new furniture, all of a sudden, what do you do with the old furniture? Or the tires, that's a big thing. Right. I mean, how many times you drive, down a road and there's, somebody has got, a bunch of tires out in his yard. Sure. It's like, how do you get rid of those? So there you go. There's the way to do it right there.
Yeah, and I like the recycling as well because, clothing, we're in such a consumer society. We waste so much. Right? So this is cool. Shout out to everyone involved in the Missouri Department of Natural Resources. So make sure you mark your calendar, April 26th. And there's a ton of stuff going on the rest of this month.
And take advantage of that hazardous waste thing too. That's another huge thing. You got paint left over, you've got things like that you need to get rid of. You don't know how to get rid of. There you go, hazardous waste. So,
all right, real quick, before we move on to crazy, actually, we're going to talk about those FEMA flood maps. I talked with Stacy Shore, but before we do that, I want to give a shout out to Boyd Beckmeyer. Saw him at church Sunday, and he said, Will, why are you and Uncle Chris never talking about the Blues? They've won 12 games in a row, man.
Wow, have they really?
They had won 12 in a row.
They've
hot. Got that first wild card spot, not really sealed, but with only 4 or 5 games left at time of recording, they finally had their win streak snapped against, I think it was the Jets, who are one of the best teams in hockey, right?
Yeah.
And it was a really good game, 3-1. They scored an empty netter, but it was a good game. And our buddy Mike Bissell's a big Blues fan, and I wanted to give a shout out to Boyd Beckmeyer because he stopped me and said, "You guys never talk about the Blues, and they've won 12 in a row." And I can tell you're not doing the sports update.
Way to go, Boyd. No, that's right, and I barely even noticed the Blues got hot, but it kind of reminds me when they won the Stanley Cup a few years ago. Remember, like at midway point of the season, they were the worst team in the league. Yeah, Gloria was the theme song, right?
Hey, and listen, Bennington is kind of splitting with Hofer. They're kind of going back and forth. So Bennington, who was a rookie in 19 and was the hero, only goaltender in NHL history to start every game in the postseason or in a Stanley Cup and win.
And he basically won that cup for the Blues that year.
Don't forget about Patty Maroon. Oh, you can't forget about Patty Maroon.
Well, there were a lot of great players on there, but I just remember Game 7 in Boston, and the Bruins were just peppering him with shots. I mean, they should have had like a 3-4-0 lead after the first period, but Bennington stopped every one of them, kept the door open, and the Blues found a way to come back and win that thing.
Hey,
man.
maybe they'll do it again, but hey, this has been a hot topic as we move forward. My Sabres aren't in the playoffs, so it won't be any problem
That's
there.
too bad.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
I thought they were going to be good this year.
14 years in a row. But hey, if you're wondering about the flood maps that have been talked about with FEMA and SEMA and how that could impact you if you own a home or a business here at Lake of the Ozarks, if your home would be in the new flood map, you would need flood insurance potentially. Well, I talked with Stacy Shore, who is a local realtor and really has been fronting this, effort here locally. And she says that they're in a decent place of waiting right now following their big open house because SEMA has had to admit that they've used faulty data to redraw those initial maps.
That's
right?
a huge admission.
Correct. Now, they used WSP is the company they contract for mapping the lake, and they've come out and said that they had faulty data, and so now they're supposed to be reissuing new maps. Now, they've said allegedly they're going to be using the 2011 Corps of Engineers data to reissue these maps, and they could look very similar to the 2018 maps, which would be good because there'd be little changes. Now, I want you to look on screen. This is a graphic that Lake Expo had up and Stacy Shore shared with me. This is the new floodplain if it went through as they initially had been throwing around.
Right, yeah.
With that faulty data. That's important to know that it was faulty data they used. If you look at the red on this map, that's where the floodplain would be changed to. Now, most of these homes have lomas, and they're not even in the 100-year floodplain. There's no reason they would fall in that new maps. And so now that they've issued faulty data, Shore credits the Trump administration's executive order to halter these government bodies from using climate science to reissue or redraw flood maps. Essentially, President Trump has forced their hand. SEMA and FEMA would now have to prove they used reliable data to redraw those maps, which they're not going to be able to do most likely. So now they're back at the drawing board. Stacy Shore went on to credit Ike Skelton, James Gohagan, and the Republican Central Committee. She said, have you seen those new preliminary maps that they put out there? We're waiting to see if they formally release those new ones and if they look closer to the 2018 maps. And if they don't, they're going to have to be able to prove, SEMA and FEMA is going to have to be able to prove that their contractor, WSP, has used good data and proved to them how they came about the changes they're proposing. What data got you to this conclusion, and they have not been able to do that. Now, our local watchdogs are watching closely. It'll be interesting. The extending of these maps is actually 2026, but interesting is their initial proposal for 2023. They were already in the preliminary stages, supposed to have it out in 2024, but now, in my opinion, they've kind of got caught. They're backtracking, and they're trying to figure out what maps they're going to put out. And the problem that we see is the Department of Public Safety, their press release is misleading towards our locals as far as like, oh, you guys just don't understand, like, we'll get back to you. It's like, no, our local watchdogs do understand. They're highly educated. The Lake of the Ozarks has been here before with Ed Schmidt and Lynn Farrell and some of these individuals. And it's people that in the business world may not even see eye to eye or vote the same, but when they're fighting for their community, they come together. And I don't think these government agencies are used to that. And so it'll be interesting to see. But right now, I think our local watchdogs have basically fought on our behalf and have us in the driver's seat. Now, it doesn't mean that we need to fall asleep at the wheel. We need to be ready because when these new preliminary maps come out, there is going to be another open house or a town hall. They're thinking probably middle of May. We're going to keep everybody posted on location, but the commission's office will be there. The Republican Central Committee will be there. And I'm very intrigued to see when they come out with these new maps after admitting and saying, well, we use faulty data. That's why those maps were so extreme. We came out with those. Well, what is your contractor? Why are you using them? And are they still the ones you're using? Because prove to me, why did they come up with these crazy, insane numbers where the new floodplain at Lake of the Ozarks would be 6 feet over the driving surface of the Bagnell Dam?
Yeah.
I think there needs to be some accountability.
That's unbelievable that their flood map would be over the top of the dam. that goes to show you how absurd
And they
it
said,
is.
hey, we faulty data.
Yeah. Oh, oops.
How
made
do
a
we
mistake.
get faulty data? And
Right.
they can't answer that question.
But this is a really scary thing of governmental overreach under a bad administration, in my opinion, anyway, where they decide, oh, we're going to make a whole bunch of free money here by making people get flood insurance, and just come up with a map where a whole lot of people are going to have to get this insurance.
Since you said that, it's worth noting $1.89 billion of FEMA funds went to house and store and feed illegal immigrants.
Yeah.
That was the number.
No wonder their coffers were empty when North Carolina flooded, right?
Correct.
So they're trying to slide this in without any opposition. So how do they do that? Well, they were asked, they were on a little pushback. SEMA was asked, well, how are homeowners going to be notified of changes in the finalization of the map? When they were trying to push this through. And the response from FEMA was, it'll be the duty of the county, according to WSP. One part of the program that I don't like, but it's the way it is, and they're not going to change it. So that's basically the government saying, hey, it's coming. No matter what you say, we're not even going to communicate with you. It's up to you to figure it out.
But look at our county.
Yeah.
And the way they've communicated.
Smart.
And the way they've seen the writing on the wall. So, hey, we got to go through, we got a massive amount of events coming up, right? It's hard to believe
I can't believe we're running out of time already.
Right. This is greatness. So between April 12th and the 26th, this weekend is the Bridge and Dam Half Marathon with fun runs presented by Lake TV. We'll be on site. Super excited for that. Of course, Dace Jam 2025 3-on-3 tournament. No. Not just no, but no.
You about broke yourself last year.
Yeah,
right?
you're not kidding. So, and then hey, listen, Easter Sunday's coming up, and I wanted to announce a really cool event taking place at Captain Ron's in Sunrise Beach. They're actually going to have a beachside church service.
Wow.
My buddy Zach Sean really is how you pronounce his last name. Everyone says Sean, and it's spelt that way. But Zach Sean is going to be on the beach for a 10 a.m. church service. His wife Terry is going to be there, play a couple of songs. They've also got an Easter brunch from 9 to 1. They've got an Easter egg hunt at noon, and there will be the Easter bunny on hand. But listen, I'm telling you, Zach Sean from the church at Osage Hills, he's a great communicator of the gospel, very biblically based, an amazing dude, and I'm so excited he's given up his Sunday to come, share the word with people who, hey, maybe they don't want to go inside a church. I know there's a lot of people that don't. They want to go on the beachside church service and hang out under the sun. I'm excited. The Holtz will be there.
You're going to be there?
Heck,
probably for the Easter eggs and the Easter bunny, too.
Well, I heard the Easter bunny was going to be there. I said, sorry, Pastor, I can't be there this Sunday. So that's going to be really cool. And then, hey, hard to start thinking about. We talk about Lisa Thomas, and she's going to be running for state senate. We've kind of kept you posted. Well, her challenger, her opponent, is actually having a golf tournament here locally.
Okay.
It's cool because if you want to spend big money, it's $1,200 for a team of 4, and it's April 21st at Old Kinderhook. But here's where the intrigue kicks in for me. This is why I want to go. You'll get to golf with or meet, that'll be on hand, Ozzie Smith, Danny Cox, Tom Pagnazzi, and Neil Smith, all going to be there. And it's Old Kinderhook Golf Course, Monday, April 21st. It's a 1 p.m. shotgun start. Lunch will be provided. And if you want to find out more information, you need to look on Old Kinderhook, or just look for Spicer for Missouri Republican candidate. I just thought it was cool because when I saw, Ozzie Smith, Danny Cox, Tom Pagnazzi, and Neil Smith all at Lake of the Ozarks.
Big sports names there, man.
Sign me up, right? Hey, also pretty excited. We got a couple of chamber dinners coming up.
Yeah.
Lake West on the 10th, Eldon on the 24th. Elegant Evening on the 25th.
Yep.
You're going to get tired of me this month?
No.
Okay, good.
We have so much fun at those things.
I do. I just want to make sure that your face is not lying to me.
And my wife's out of town for a couple of those, so you'll be my date,
I love
for
it.
a couple of those.
I love it. Hey, and then big one coming up. The Lake of the Ozarks Marine Dealers Association April in-water boat show at Dog Days. We've partnered with the Marine Dealers Association. Lake TV is going to be there April 25th through the 27th. 19-mile marker by water or Osage Beach by land. Boats, accessories, all new brands, including, 2025 cruisers, yachts, Tritoons, PWCs, high-performance boats, used inventory. But they're in water, ready to fire up. This is like your chance. Boating season's here, so your new boaters are like, hey, I want to see it in the water.
Yeah.
Try it out. This is your chance. It's Lake of the Ozarks Marine Dealers Association. April in-water boat show at Dog Days. 25th through 27th of April. Going to be pretty cool. And hey, before we go, we told you about the NCAA tournament.
Yep.
Hey, Kate Crawford. Florida wins it. Kate Crawford, she's your winner. $750 shopping spree at High Stakes Smokehouse.
So cool.
140 total participants. 36 people picked Florida. Kevin Hornick, he took 4th place.
Wow, way to go, Kevin.
Andrew Evans took 7th place.
What?
But 36 people took Florida. Just crazy. Big shout out to High Stakes Smokehouse. Big shout out to my mom, who turns, I won't say her age, April 13th, her
29.
birthday. That's going to wrap it up. Until next week from Slumberland at the Lake, thanks for watching. Cup of coffee.